Hello, everyone. I'm here today with Christina Luna in my Fireside Soul Series chat. And Christina is an astrologer. Hi, Christina. Welcome.
Hi, thank you, Adina.
So, spirituality during a pandemic.
Yes.
You've got this like bird's eye view, I imagine, in your line of work. And I'm curious, this bird's eye view that you have of patterns for individuals, for humanity. It must feel like having a thermometer on the human psyche. And I'm curious what your temperature reading might be. Like, from your perspective, what do you read? What patterns are you noticing?
That's an excellent question. Thank you for asking. I definitely I actually utilize social media as a thermometer. I kind of feel like even Facebook is like a thermometer right up the butt. And so I pay close attention to what is being shared on social media. How is the collective responding? And I know that my algorithm is going to show me people most like me, but what I'm seeing based on the experiences we had in 2020 and how we are moving into this energy of 2021, we got to have a collective experience of facing whether or not we identify as a victim or a creator.
Hmm.
And when I was doing my readings, it's kind of awkward to be an intuitive during times when global phenomenon are occurring, because everyone always wants to say, well, did you predict this would happen? Like we're all looking for that. And energetically and intuitively, a lot of astrologers predicted something would happen. I was seeing that over the course of 2020, we would be introduced to this identity. We'd be choosing sort of a train of experience. And either some of us are going to decide that we're going to learn how to ride the bicycle of being a creator. And
Yeah.
some of us are going to decide that riding a bicycle is terrifying and the learning curve is too much, and instead we'd rather just ride in the back seat of someone else driving. And so that's what 2020 really was about. It was helping us decide, are we going to get into the passenger seat and ride the bike and do the learning curve and fall down and get back on, and fall down again and get back on, and through all of those wounds and through all of that challenge, are we going to learn how we're really creating our reality through our perceptions and through our energy state? And 2021 is, all right, so whatever you decided, you're experiencing the responsibility of that choice. So whether we chose to be in the passenger seat or the driver's seat, both of them come with a great amount of responsibility. Regardless of what our opinion is, that they're hard in different ways,
Right.
So I am of the persuasion of being a creator of my life. That's why I pay attention to astrology, because I got this hunch a while back that somehow my energy is affecting the way my environment is being experienced. And so I need to be responsible in many ways for observing myself and observing my responses and the stories I'm telling myself about what's happening in my world, because it changes my conversations when
Yeah.
I'm observing that. So in 2021, whatever camp we're in, and I'm actually, I recognize with all the clients I've been working with, there are areas of our life that we've fully accepted our creatorship. And there's a couple of areas that are a little bit harder for us to accept that are a little bit harder for us to shift. And we're in the stage right now where we're doing the work necessary to bring us fully congruent with our personal experience with what it is to be who we are in this lifetime as a creator. And I know this is a little abstract, but what it looks like is people are like cleaning out their houses. People are changing their diets. People are doing the things that they put off for a long time because they're just tired of being resistant to it. It's like, we're just finally like, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, and the reason we have the impetus to do that is because we've accepted that in certain areas we've really taken the reins
Mhm.
And we see the results of doing that. And then there are areas where we haven't taken the reins and we see the results of that, which are uncomfortable. And that shows up as health problems or money problems or relationship issues
Mm.
or work problem, affiliate problems or like place of work problems or car problems. So any place we're having problems right now is a place where, well, we can reference the places that are going well. Like what's going well and why is it going well? What am I doing there that's making it go so well? How am I taking responsibility for that? Usually it's a place that maybe has been a little bit like more effortless for us throughout our life. The persona we created like lets us
Right.
have certain tools to be good in those areas. So can we apply those same tools to these other areas of our life that maybe are harder, like parenting? Like we might be really good with clients but have a really hard time with our kids,
You
or
must see like the exposure of people's masks and comfort zones being peeled back. And so you must see patterns of like collective fear and collective courageousness kind of happening within, the same paradigm. And so it's like we're all, in a way, our old structures or our old stabilities are in this box being shook up.
literally.
So yeah, what does astrology have to say about that? Like in terms of everyone's opportunities right now, because it's like scary and exciting at the same time.
Well, really, you said it perfectly. And without even knowing, we have a couple of planets in this space called Taurus, the
Okay.
space and that is squaring right now with this innovation, this Aquarian innovation that we want to create something new for our lives. So the question that we're all asking on a certain level is, what kinds of things did I feel gave me certainty in the past? Where did I get my certainty? Like, how did I meet my needs in the past? Because that's the part that's getting shaken up. We are not meeting our needs the same way and not having the same level of certainty that we used to even just a year ago. And with that being shaken up, for a couple, I'm not going to go into the specific planetary things. We're also being pressed to innovate our lives, to put certainty into something else and to value something else entirely. So the courageous thing that's happening is people are learning to actually shift their values. We're seeing people shift a value from material experiences or material possessions to experiential moments.
Mm.
And that value shift changes what we spend our money on. It changes like what we prioritize. It's definitely destabilizing. That means that essentially people who have held power to give us things to make us feel secure, they're losing power because we're choosing experiences or relative
Yeah. Mhm.
differently now.
That are
And
not so
so,
much contributing to the economic,
yeah,
continuation, of old structures. Got it. Okay.
right. And it's
Mm.
happening just naturally. Like the
Mhm.
crazy thing is, this isn't something like, it's ridiculous to spend tons of money on some of the things that we used to spend money on to uh, impress public forums or whatever,
Like
like
the persona that you
clothing.
spoke of, the persona that we used to work on in our
Yes,
past life, so to speak, pre-COVID.
yes,
Yeah, and that ego, like unconscious egoic state, and perhaps how we can now utilize the power of the ego in a conscious manner to eyes wide open see where our motivations are coming from and address that void there in a way that perhaps benefits the collective that we care about.
absolutely.
Okay.
One of the most valuable things that is really rising for me and for my clients, the nature of their intimate relationships.
Yeah, got it.
So, in intimacy is the ability to be authentically yourself and completely loved and accepted for that. So, intimacy with yourself has gone up in value. Intimacy with the people like who can you really lean on when things are hard? Who
Yeah,
who do you let
for
lean on
sure.
you when things are hard?
Yeah.
There's a currency to intimacy that you can't put a dollar amount on.
There's a currency to intimacy that you can't put a dollar value on. Bold.
Gold.
Wow.
This is a way that our
Beautiful.
values have changed. Like, we don't have to impress the people that we're super intimate with. They see our souls. We hope. This is the goal.
This is our work in progress.
Yeah. So
Wow.
this value
Uh-huh.
shift is making us want to put our money into, or our attention or our focus into, things that will bring us into greater alignment with who we are really. And that's spurring all kinds of changes with our work environment, changes in our home environment, changes in our relationship climates. Like, we are sort of demanding the truth of us to emerge. And
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
can take work. It takes vulnerability. It takes boundaries. It takes raising standards. It takes having hard conversations. And we're seeing those hard conversations and boundaries and standards coming into play right now. And these are things we've been putting off.
Right.
We just thought, well, it's comfortable enough. But then things got very uncomfortable. And now, not only we're not really doing it out of discomfort at this point, some part of us intuitively knows that we get to sleep in whatever bed we make.
Mhm.
The creator parts of us know that whatever we create here, whatever seeds we plant here, is going to reflect the harvest we have later. And so this is the year of the ox.
Yeah.
We literally, that is the animal that pulls
Uh-huh.
that mechanism through the soil to prepare the soil for the seeds that we want to plant.
Yeah.
And
The
so,
great laborer. It's
yeah.
like the labor, the soil, the tilling of the earth. Got it. So let's say someone's listening to this that is not so familiar with astrology, but let's say they're home with their family, like many are right now.
Yeah.
How has motherhood informed your journey in astrology and in sharing your wisdom teachings? Like, what can you offer to families that are now face to face with this intimacy and communication and authenticity paradigm in their homes? Like, they're living it every day. Mom and dad might be working both from home. Kids might be online schooling. Some are back at school, some aren't. What does astrology have to guide us in this arena?
Okay, I'm going to give an answer that, bear with me here. We're put together in this container, and often we identify as something. And I'm going to use two really obvious polarities: dark, light, masculine, feminine. I'm going to just do a little chart here in your mind. Think about what you identify as. Like, I'll be honest, oftentimes I want to be seen as light feminine, which is the good girl, the one that can do everything right and create harmony in her family and keep the peace and whatever. So if I
I got over that
identify,
addiction in my 40s.
pardon me.
I got over that addiction in my 40s.
Yes, this,
But I
unfortunately,
fully hear you. Been there,
yeah.
done that. Yes.
Well, what's wonderful about what you just asked me about having the family all together is,
Yeah.
if we strongly identify with that role, we are meant to be all things.
Yes.
But so if we strongly identify with that, then we've got to project the other energies onto the people, the other players in our story. And so we get our families all stuffed together, and this dynamic of the person that we created, that is this persona, we created that usually when we were children. We had to be a certain way to receive the love of our parents. We had to not make waves, or we had to get good grades, or not disappoint your parents, like whatever, not be angry. There was all these things we were not supposed to be, so that we could create strong attachment with our parents. And it's normal. Everyone goes through this. Here we are, placed into a container where we're trying to hold a strong role, and we're projecting these other energies out of us because we don't want to own it.
Yeah.
And energetically, the container wants to be whole. And so what I feel, what I've witnessed myself is that my loved ones, even my children and lovers, lover, I have one lover, but um, I'm speaking for the collective here.
All
um,
power to you.
um, when they exhibit
Uh-huh.
behaviors that I don't want to identify with and I want to fix,
Mhm.
I had to get really okay with experiencing the spectrum of emotion that was being presented. So that looks like holding my daughter when she's really like frustrated and crying and not wanting to, you know, not just wants to get her way. Then in that way, I'm holding the part of me that also was
Yeah.
upset when I didn't get my way. And when we're resistant to that energy, we can have a lot of so much conflict. When we're resistant to, like, we're not getting our way and I'm like doing everything right and whatever, that we can definitely create tension, because if we hold the frame that we're the good guy, then someone else has to hold the frame that they're the bad guy or the bad girl or whatever. And the dynamic isn't it's not it's in conflict. It's in a squaring conflict.
Yeah.
So when
There's no free will there because we delegate a role onto our loved one that they might not necessarily want. And
that's
then they
right.
don't feel freedom, and wherever we don't feel free.
That's right. So what I've
Wow.
witnessed is
Yeah.
that as we like are challenged, these
Mhm.
are opportunities to feel the wholeness of the experience and come into acceptance. So
Mm.
we'll end up having stronger connections with our family if we're able to feel the feelings we've been unwilling to feel
Beautiful.
and be the parts of us that we've been unwilling to be, let go of some of the roles and really just be present with what is. And I know that sounds super idealistic, but every single time we are in a power struggle, it's because we're holding a role really strongly. We're
Mhm.
holding a frame really strongly. And we're not open to feeling something that is harder for us to feel. And so with I've got my daughter at home as well. I've had to like restructure. I've had to ask for help, which is something that was hard for me to do when I was before before this time. And now I'm like, wow, I actually have to acknowledge my needs and ask for help.
Yeah.
And so there's every time there's been a struggle point, I've known it's a time for me to lean into it and really feel the emotions of that struggle point.
Mhm. Yeah, we're not lone rangers anymore.
Mm-mm.
This is the push for us to really lean in and define our community and our tribe and make it more cohesive and just opportunities for more intimacy. Yeah. Yeah. And that requires us, like you're saying, to go into the discomfort to create, it's like discomfort creates an intimacy.
Good.
It's like survivors of, accidents, plane accidents and whatnot, or have like apparently a lifelong bond because of the trauma of an accident together. So that discomfort, it's like a macro extreme example of that principle. So in closing, 3 takeaways for individuals or families to navigate these times from what you see in a kind of bird's eye perspective that you can offer for people, whatever they're going through at this time,
Okay.
from a global
Number,
perspective. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
number one,
Yeah.
let go of the person you thought you were and
Mhm.
continue to just be the person that you are in each moment. Like, let go of your roles and let yourself transform into whatever needs to be expressed in that moment. It's highly destabilizing and the most rewarding thing that we can possibly do right now. Number
Mm.
two is anything that you know you need to do, just do it.
That's so good. The energy in which you say that is awesome. We all know.
No, it's so we've known it for a long time. We cannot be in denial anymore. primarily because we are manifesting at a rate in our lives that is unprecedented. And
Agreed. Yeah.
it's time to be responsible.
Mm,
It's
beautiful.
time, like if just an example, I'm really focused on my diet. I've cut out caffeine and I'm just really focusing on the health of my body. I've been putting that off for a long time. And now that I am doubling down on that, I'm seeing how it's changed my state and my perception so tremendously that I have the bandwidth to attend to all of the other things I was putting off.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Brilliant.
just doing that work. And then the third thing is really ask yourself, why are you really doing this right now? This question could be the primary question all the time. Why am I really doing this right now? Because the seed intention for every single thing we're doing right now is going to create a harvest. So if the answer is because I need the money, you're planting seeds of I need money.
Mm,
If the answer is because I really love this person, you're planting seeds of I really love this person. So just being really conscious of why we're doing what we're doing, anything, everything, that's
mm.
going to really shine some light on why we're experiencing what we're experiencing right now and take some responsibility and initiative for what we're creating for the future.
Beautiful. I'd like to add a little limitation on that third piece there, that even if the question is, or the answer to the question, because I'm doing it for money, what is the money going to provide you? And that could be the access to, oh, because I want to provide, this experience for my family, or I'm providing leadership where there was a breakdown of family leadership. I'm going to take the torch and, you know, support this family structure to get to the next step or place, or underneath that people will
Right.
find their gold.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely making money is a valid reason for doing something. And sometimes if that need for money, the real distinction is if it's coming from a place of like, I really don't want to, and
Yes.
I'm really afraid to do other things.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to continue doing this because it feels stable. Like what we know is the old structures of it. If you're doing it because you feel very insecure,
Right.
that's very different from because I want to create these experiences for my family. It's the
Mm,
same exact thing you could be doing, but your why could shift.
mm,
If your why is I'm doing it because I want to create these experiences for my future self, different energy altogether than I'm doing it because I'm super stressed out and I don't know what else to do. So it's even if you find out that that's the answer, congratulations. Congratulations. Like
got a new lens.
yeah, like okay, so the intention is the seed, not the
Yeah.
thing we do.
Yeah.
The thing we do is not the seed, it's the intentionality that we put in the soil that
Yeah.
makes that kind of flavors the seed.
One last question, because this might be interesting for people new to astrology as well. When you create an astrological map for a person based on their time and day of birth, how much is that either like a fingerprint where it's kind of set, or how much of it is a map, like a suggestion of a person's journey?
You know, this is a wonderful question, and it's a little bit of both, but
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
let's just say every single moment is an eternity, and it's a snapshot of divinity. Every single moment has infinite possibilities, and every single moment, I mean, there's a snapshot. A baby's being born right now, and the
Yeah.
snapshot of this energy right now
Got
is
it.
infinite into itself. It
Yeah.
is a snapshot. It's a snapshot of a divine moment.
Mm,
And the birth chart is a snapshot of that divine moment that can be utilized in so many ways.
got it.
And it has a very specific harmonic.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
like an
Like a
orchestra.
tone. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Got
like
it. Mm,
that divine moment. It's not just like there's so much complexity to it. And it's so beautiful. And we take that harmonic, we sort of embody that harmonic in this body through our life. And then imagine this harmonic gets to be like, for instance, I have mine and you have yours. We're talking together and it's cross pollinating. And it's also within the greater orchestra of this divine moment that we're experiencing right now. So you're humming this way, I'm humming this way, the bigger picture is humming this way. And so when I read an astrology reading, basically what I'm doing is I'm talking about how your harmonic is going to harmonize throughout the instrumentation of the divine that's literally happening right now and right now and right now. There's a way that your sound can move most gracefully through this time that we're experiencing. And so
Yeah.
it's sort
Okay.
of
Suggestions for that. Yeah. And then the
yeah,
guide map of suggestions for how
yeah.
to do that harmoniously. Got it. Okay.
Because like if you're always going to be in tune,
Mm-hmm.
but we are sometimes emphasizing certain elements of the song.
Yeah.
And what we do in a lifetime is we actually bring ourselves all the way into congruence so that we're in congruence with our harmonic and the presence of right now. So we're able to play our instrument in the current moment at any given time without any resistance. We have a tendency to resist parts of divinity, which is what I was talking about. We put ourselves in a role and then we resist parts of reality. And that pulls us, it emphasizes certain notes and de-emphasizes or pushes away certain notes, but they're always there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I do a reading, I just push on every single note and remind the person of the presence of these notes and then how that song fits into the current song.
Beautiful. Christina, thank you. How do we find you online?
Please find me at my website. My website is lunation, like a moon lunation.live.
I'll put it on the description as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I have a I have a PDF that's like a 2021 year ahead. It's like 7 pages long. It's got 93 different transits and channeled information for each one. I've got that for free on my website for anyone who would like to download it.
Okay, great. I'll be sure to include that on the link. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.